Welcome to our demonstration garden. I'm Rebecca McMahon with K-State Research and Extension. As you gain more experience with your vegetable garden planting, you'll realize that some crops don't require the entire growing season. Things like lettuce, spinach, radishes, and other similar vegetables often only require a few weeks to go from seed to harvest, or only part of the growing season. And so instead of letting part of your garden sit with nothing in it for part or all of the main part of the summer, you can use the same space multiple times. If you're going to be purchasing plants to put into your vegetable garden, there's some things to look for when you go to the garden center or nursery. The first thing to look for is plants that are dark green and healthy looking. You want to avoid plants that have signs of disease, insect damage, or anything that doesn't look quite healthy or normal on the plants. The other thing you want to look for when you're shopping for vegetable transplants is you want plants that are nice, well-grown, and compact. If you have started your own seeds indoors or purchased your plants from a greenhouse and they haven't been outdoors yet, you want to give them a little bit of time to acclimate to the outdoor conditions before you just stick them into your garden. You want to make sure those plants have had that chance to acclimate, and we call that hardening off. By hardening off, we are going to be gradually exposing these plants that were either started indoors your own house or from a garden center or nursery to the higher wind conditions that we experience in Kansas, as well as brighter sunlight and low humidity. The first time I put plants outside, it's usually during the middle of the day, ideally on a day that's either a little bit shady, not full sun, or I put them into a shadier location. Usually you want to harden your plants off for 7 to 10 days before planting them into your garden. Then over the course of that 7 to 10 days, you gradually want to expose them to a wider range of outdoor conditions. More full sunlight, making sure that they're getting adequate water so that they don't scorch, getting exposed to higher wind conditions so that when you plant them out in the garden, they've got leaves that are already beginning to adapt to the harsher conditions. If you have a lot of plants to plant, it can sometimes be helpful to go along and dig all of your planting holes first. From there, you're ready to get the plants into the ground. The first step in transplanting is to make sure that your space is correct. I like to use a yardstick or a ruler to make sure that my spacing is about what I want it to be. So in this case, we're planting our lettuce plants about 12 inches apart. Once I have my spot marked, I'm going to go ahead and dig my planting hole. If the soil is pretty dry, you may want to add more water to the planting hole. Our soil is fairly moist, so we're going to be okay. When we're ready to plant, what I find is helpful is to gently hold the plant near its base, near the soil line in the pot. Turn the pot over and gently squeeze or tap the pot to release the plant. I want to take a look at the root ball of the plant to see if it's got too many roots grown together, which is called being root bound. In this case, my plants look pretty healthy, but since I've got 2 plants here, I'm actually going to carefully divide them. Because my plants aren't overgrown, I don't need to do a whole lot, but if your plants are root bound, you may want to gently kind of tease out the roots a little bit so that they grow better once they're planted. Then we're going to place our plant into the planting hole, and making sure when we do so that our hole is deep enough and wide enough. Then I'm going to gently move the soil back into the planting hole, and I'm going to press down or tamp down the soil around the plant. After you've planted new transplants into your garden, you want to keep an eye on them for the first several days and into the first week or 2. It's important that they have adequate water as they adjust to the outdoor conditions, but also important that you don't overwater them. Sometimes it may be more effective and helpful if you hand water them, but if you've got a drip system or something like that in your garden, that can also work just fine. Thanks for visiting us in the Sedgwick County Extension Master Gardener's demonstration garden today.